I welcome you all to this second Sunday of the Easter season, wishing you all happy feast of divine mercy. The cross never ceases to speak, even after resurrection. It speaks. But we may hear the cry, "Oh, God doesn't speak. God is silent. Will these things happen if He speaks?" Recurring death day after day in thousands. The disease is being spread, moving from one country to another. The lockdown dates are increased, extended. God doesn't speak. Is God angry? Someone asked me, "Father, can you explain to me about my friend expression sharing that from the book of Amos, 8th chapter, the temples will be empty, songs will become lamentation." He says, it speaks about this today's situation. Everything is going to end. I told him, God never ceases to speak. You and me need to listen. His language is different. Yes, dear friends, things around us may not look good, confusing, scaring. Yet He keeps speaking. He keeps speaking because believing in crucifixion means believing in mercy. Believing in crucifixion means believing in mercy. Cross never ceases to speak. It speaks the language of mercy. It speaks the language of mercy in action. Down the centuries, there were plagues from the early 3rd century. Cyprian plague, Antonio plague, Black Death, Milan plague. In all those moments, people died in huge number. There was much information and technology to be known. But plague was there for many months. One particular plague did not allow the celebration of Christmas as we had Easter now. So they had spiritual communion of looking at the Eucharist from one corner when it was celebrated. Those moments, it was Christians who went to the streets, who went to the houses, who went to the homes, did the act of mercy. People were blaming, but Christians increased in number. The act of mercy, they picked it up from the early Christians, which is our first reading today. The early Christians were called breaking bread people. People were breaking bread in common, sharing in common. There was no one left in hunger. Everyone was considered equal around the altar of God. It was the mercy which was expressed in action, gathering everyone equal around the altar of God, sharing, breaking, and offering concern, bread, and word of God, encouraged to one another. It was lived out during the every plague movement. Even Charles Borromeo went to the street and carrying in his hand to the cart, to the horse cavern, and carrying to the homes. He died after few years of the plague, but they lived the act of mercy. And today's gospel is another invitation when Jesus calls them to see the wound. As I said, crucifixion, it's an act of mercy. It's an act of mercy. We know the blood and water gushed out, poured out. It's a symbolical invitation when we see the picture of divine mercy, that every time we come, the white color symbolizing the water, baptismal water, that we are purified, we are affirmed, a beloved children of God the Father. And the red color, blood, reminds us constantly when we come, the blood is shed, poured, purifying, sanctifying, making us one with God the Father, Son, and the Spirit. What is mercy, compassion? I got a message from one of the nurses, some of you must have seen it, from a New York hospital, only with tears, crying, weeping. I come 6:45 a.m., leave 9:40 p.m. When I come, going to every room, see dead body after dead body. It's I cannot bear it. Exhausted. Nobody's there to console. Nobody's to care. This moment, what we need is compassion, she says. Each human being should express compassion for the other. Mercy for other. Compassion is, I become part of the other. I get in the shoes of the other. That is a mercy in action. Jesus became human, being part of the human suffering. Jesus saw them and felt compassionate and feed them, give them something. That is compassion, mercy, act of mercy. Yes, dear friends, as we celebrate this Feast of Divine Mercy, in today's situation of danger, threat, uncertainty, wherever we are, maybe in building, there may be someone who will be struggling for food, our neighbors, in your SCC, in your parish, some convent, some priest residence. Can we do the act of mercy? Can we practice the act of mercy? That is living of the Eucharist in today's context. There's a girl, Edith. When she was 13, 1945, she's running out, escaping from concentration camp towards Poland to see her old beloved parents. When she reaches, she realizes, she comes to know her parents are no more. They're brutally killed in Auschwitz. So she is coming terms with her and sitting in the station waiting for the train. No money, no penny in hand, nothing, freezing cold. People pass through, people walk through, but they did not do any act of mercy. They did not care for her. She feels like dying. She feels like dying. She sees this young seminarian, with the collar. She realizes he is a seminarian for priesthood, studying for priesthood. He comes closer, and he goes and grabs loaves of bread, tea, and cheese, and offers to her, and takes her to the train and making her to sit, and giving his overcoat. She says, I'm a Jew, ran away from concentration camp, lost the parents. You're a seminarian, please take care of yourself. And after many years, when she moved to Europe and UK, when she realizes that person who offered the act of mercy, became Pope one day, she started communicating, and they met to eat together. He met together a couple of times. She was invited to Rome. He's none other than Karol Wojtyła, John Paul II. No wonder he started that Feast of Divine Mercy from Faustina's practices, and he canonized her, and he was canonized on the same day of Feast of Divine Mercy. That girl, she's 94. When she was 94, she said, 84, she said, if that seminarian would not have exhibited act of mercy, she would not have existed. She would not have survived. Yes, dear friends, thank God for His merciful love. You and me, this world move, survive because of His mercy. Yes, cross never ceases to speak. Cross speaks louder to the act of mercy. Amen.